Everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we are going to continue to discuss on Apache Kafka. In my previous video we had gone through the entire framework as well as the list of components which is part of Apache Kafka, and today we are going to set up in my local system the Kafka setup, and I will go through each step by step. So for this we need to have the Docker install. I'm going to use Docker instead of local installation, and I'll be using Confluent, which is one of the platform which is built on Apache Kafka. All right, so once you have the Docker setup in your system, so you need to have a simple Docker compose file, and this compose file is a very simple list of instructions for the Docker. When we use a simple Docker compose command, it just try to start these services. So we just define the version is the Docker compose file, and then once we have the version defined, then we'll have services. So as you know, two main important components of Kafka, one is zookeeper and the other one is the broker. So here I'm going to have a single broker with the zookeeper setup. For the zookeeper, I'm giving this image and I'm using this Confluent Ink image, as well as the broker I'm using this Confluent Ink image for the Kafka. All right, so we have a simple container name and then the ports. So zookeeper listen to the port number 2181, and so that the broker can connect to it, and we can define the dependency here. So this means that once the zookeeper starts up the container, then the broker can connect to it on that particular port. So we are exposing the port 2181 for zookeeper, and we are exposing the port 9092 for broker. So this is how we list down the services in the Docker compose file, and this will create a containers which I'll just show you in a bit once I start this particular Docker compose file. And then we'll define some list of environments which is required, basically the environment variables. So I have a particular broker which listen to 9092, which I'll show you by using one of the tool, the Kafka tool, which I'll be using for development. And then we'll define a simple replication factor, and then we'll have a zookeeper connection environment variable, which is zookeeper connected to, which is exist on port number 2181. All right, so we give a simple broker ID, and then we have a simple state log replication factor here. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is this particular Docker compose file available in one of my folder. Just go to that particular folder, and then I'll just go ahead and say new terminal at this folder. So I'm going to just say, all right, pwd, all right, it's in the right folder. I have this file, so I'll just say docker compose up, and I'll run it in a detached mode. So what does it do is it just, I already had these dependencies. If you do not have a dependencies, it's going to go ahead and install the dependencies for you, and then it will start those containers. Let me go ahead to the Docker desktop and see what are the containers I have it at the moment. So if you look at it, this zookeeper running on port number 2181, and this broker, which is the Kafka broker, which is running on 9092. So what I'm going to do is I am going to have a tool which will show how to connect to this Kafka, and then I am going to do a bit of manual publishing of messages, and then in the next video I'm going to cover how to build Kafka connectivity using Spring Boot. All right, so let me go ahead and start the required tool, which we'll call, one is the conductor. This is one of the tool which I usually use for the development. If you have a local development, then you can use it for this particular tool, but you can use the other tool which is kind of open source. This is also for the local development. This is a open source. Here I can go ahead and say that I want to connect to the local host 9092, which I have a connection defined already. So if you do not have, you can go ahead and define the connection here, and then say connect to this particular local host, which is the broker. So once it's connected, I can able to clearly see what are the different list of topics and what are the partitions available on that particular topic. So as you can see here, there are two topics which I already have it, which I already defined, or else you can go ahead and create a particular topic here. And once you create a particular topic, you can say what is the replication factor as well as the partition number. So as I said earlier in the earlier videos, partitions are very important because it depends on your concurrency. It is depends on your performance of the application. You can define the partitions, and it is very important when you do a specific partition when you create a topic. So as I already have this topic, I can go ahead and say it's a demo topic which I defined with a three partition. And you can see that I have a consumer group which I created from my Spring Boot application, which I'll show you in the next video. For now, let's go ahead and see the partition. So these are the different three partition what we have. If you look at it, the leader, as well as these are the offset. This offset indicates that okay, these are the messages are at the particular offset what do we have, so that in the next time when my consumer comes up, it will be able to read that message from that particular offset onwards. All right, so I do have one more tool. Let me go ahead and look at that particular tool. So that is called, so you can search, there is something called Kafka tool. So if you go ahead here, it says offset explorer, right? So previously it was like Kafka tool, but now they have a new name called offset explorer. So I can go ahead and open that also. I will connect to the same local host which is running in my system. So it's connecting to my local host. As you can see here, I have these list of topics. This consumer offset is created by the Kafka, so we don't have to check on that particular piece. This is the default inbuilt topic what is required to maintain and manage the offset values. And then we have this demographic. These are the two topics which I created earlier. I can go ahead and see these are the partitions which are available, which we just saw in the other tool as well. And this is connected to localhost 9092, which is my broker running on that particular port. Right, so if I refresh the data, as I can see, I have list of data which I already worked on earlier. Doing the demo, I'm going to publish a new messages and show it to you. Okay, so if you look at the particular topic, you can see there's a list of properties. You can have a key and value. Usually you'll have a byte stream here, byte array, or any other thing, whatever you want to select. For now I kept it as string, and the value is string, and this is the topic name, and this is the data. So as soon as I click on this, I could be able to see the complete data as well as their partition, in which partition it is in. And then I have this offset and the key value, and then the timestamp. This is the system timestamp, and these are the headers which I published part of my application. All right, these are the different partition what we have. We can go ahead and you can look into what are the start, end, and what is the size. And this is the leader. Basically it is running on localhost 9092, and this is the replica, so it just has one replica of it. So like similar to that, if whatever the topics you create, you will have a partition. Under the partition you'll have a specific data, and depending on your configuration, when you publish the data to the Kafka, it chooses a partition based on your configuration. By default it goes with the round robin. So it publish, for example, if you have three partition, when you publish a message, three different messages, it goes to three different partition. If you have a key, it will go to a specific partition based on the key. So it uses a specific algorithm to identify which partition that particular message has to go to. Okay, so this is basic overview of the offset explorer and the other tool. Basically we can see the list of activities here. I can go ahead and add a single message to that particular partition if I want to add it. So in terms of the tools, I'm going to have a different video. So once we build the application, I'm going to show how to test that application by using publishing the messages from these particular tools. All right, these are the two tools which I usually use for my local development, basically to create some POCs and my local learning. All right, so for this video I would say that this is very important file from the Docker Compose. It just has two different services. You can just define the required parameters, and you can just use a simple command. Once you have a Docker installed in your system, you can then verify the required containers which is running on these two, and then you can go ahead and connect to your local Kafka cluster. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to start the implementation in the next video. Keep watching and have a nice day.